Oh boy, I don't even know where to begin. This story is developing, and there's more and more information coming out. This is really crazy. First, we've got the story from Fox News, which is like a bigger breakdown. Ocasio-Cortez, chief of staff, illegally moved $885,000 in campaign contributions off the books, according to an FEC complaint. Now, the other day, I tweeted out this story. This is from the Washington Examiner. AOC's chief of staff ran a $1 million slush fund by diverting campaign cash to his own companies. We then saw this from the Daily Caller. Ocasio-Cortez and her chief of staff could be facing jail time if their control over PAC was intentionally hidden, former FEC commissioner says. Basically, what is being stated here? I'm going to make sure, I tell you, my details could be a little mixed up. We'll read the story, but my general understanding is that Saikat Chakrabarti, the chief of staff for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, set up two different political action committees and two different LLCs. It's now being alleged one of the LLCs is fake, brand new Congress, and brand new campaign was the actual company. And apparently what he was doing, they were collecting money from the PACs, paying the LLCs, the private businesses, and then who knows what. So I guess the argument is, by sending money to the LLC for strategic consulting, they can then spend the money on whatever they want and not report it. So now there's this huge hubbub, but here's where it gets crazy. This is where it gets crazy. This story, there's documents that they have which if the documents are real, show that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez actually is one of the governors of Justice Democrats. That means she was directly running a political action committee that was funding an LLC to pay for things on behalf of her, which makes it sound like she was exceeding campaign contributions. So it's not. So a lot of people have brought up Dinesh D'Souza because apparently what he was doing was making donations in other people's names, and that's you can't. He was violating the limits on how much you can donate, and that's what's being alleged here to an extent. Like some people are saying, this sounds like a scheme to exceed the amount they can pay. And what gets crazier is the other complaint against Cortez is that there's another complaint that she funneled money to her boyfriend using the LLC. So this is crazy. Or using the PAC, I believe. So it's a really complicated situation. Fox News has the latest story on it. This one's from 11 hours ago, but the last update was 14 minutes. Let's read the story, try and figure out what's going on. New York Rep. Ocasio-Cortez and Saikat Chakrabarti, the progressive firebrand's multi-millionaire chief of staff, apparently violated campaign finance law by funneling nearly $1 million in contributions from political action committees Chakrabarti established to private companies that he also controlled, according to an explosive complaint filed Monday with the Federal Election Commission and obtained by Fox News. Amid the allegations, a former FEC commissioner late Monday suggested in an interview with the Daily Caller News Foundation that Ocasio-Cortez and her team could separately be facing major fines and potentially even jail time if they were knowingly and willfully violating the law by hiding their control of Justice Democrats, Political Action Committee. That's the one she's in charge of, or she's a governor on, they claim. Such an arrangement could have allowed Ocasio-Cortez's campaign to receive donations in excess of the normal limit by pooling contributions to both the PAC and the campaign itself. The FEC complaint asserts that Chakrabarti established two PACs, the Brand New Congress and Justice Democrats, and then systematically transferred more than $885,000 in contributions received by those PACs to the Brand New Campaign LLC and the Brand New Congress LLC, companies that, unlike PACs, are exempt from reporting all of their significant expenditures. The PACs claimed the payments were for strategic consulting. Although large financial transfers from PACs to LLCs are not necessarily improper, the complaint argues that the goal of the extensive scheme was seemingly to illegally dodge detailed legal reporting requirements of the Federal Election Campaign Act of 1971, which are designed to track campaign expenditures. Here's a quote now. It appears strategic consulting was a mischaracterization of a wide range of activities that should have been reported individually, the complaint states. And I'm going to say this, it sounds to me like if it's true, they were claiming all of the money from the PACs was all for consulting. Okay, here's your problem. The companies were all started by Saikat Chakrabarti. Why would his own company need to consult his other company? To me, that makes no sense. Maybe I'm getting this wrong. This is a complicated story. But if I have two companies, I have two YouTube channels. Does my one YouTube channel need to pay me to consult on my other YouTube channel? Like, I understand in some capacities you can do that, but it's very strange that when it's nearly $1 million, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is one of the governors of one of the PACs. So all of this money being consulting, they're claiming it's a mischaracterization. The complaint was drafted by the conservative Virginia-based National Legal and Policy Center. Ocasio-Cortez and Chakrabarty, according to the NLPC's complaint, appeared to have orchestrated an extensive off-the-books operation to make hundreds of thousands of dollars of expenditures in support of multiple candidates for federal office. The funds, the NLPC writes, were likely spent on campaign events for Ocasio-Cortez and other far-left Democratic candidates favored by Chakrabarty, who made his fortune in Silicon Valley and previously worked on Bernie Sanders' 2016 presidential campaign. But no precise accounting for the expenses is available, and the complaint asks the FEC to conduct an investigation into the matter immediately. Now it gets crazy. Now we've got some quotes. These are not minor or technical violations, Tom Anderson, director of NLPC's Government Integrity Project, said in a statement. We are talking about real money here. In all my years of studying FEC reports, I've never seen a more ambitious operation to circumvent reporting requirements. Representative Ocasio-Cortez has been quite vocal in condemning so-called dark money, but her own campaign went to great lengths to avoid the sunlight of disclosure. He added, they believe their cause is so great that they don't have to play by the rules. They believe that they are above campaign finance law. Now look, I tweeted the Washington Examiner story with a quote. I didn't use the headline, I used a quote from him saying this looks like, an extensive scheme. And naturally you get all the conservatives saying, oh boy, here it comes, lock her up, things like that. The left was accusing me of pushing a conspiracy theory. Listen, you don't have to like Fox News and these other conservative outlets, whatever you want to call them, but if this is being published as statements of fact by multiple outlets from different angles, and you've got an organization, and it's an allegation, look, you've got to accept this is what it is. And it's crazy to me that there's people who believe that Cortez is above the law, as if she shouldn't be investigated, as if they shouldn't go, check the merit of these complaints simply because they're on her side. I'm going to say this right now. If Donald Trump violates the emoluments clause, investigate 100%. If Ocasio-Cortez is violating FEC law, investigate 100%. I have no allegiance to any politician, and just because she's on their team does not make her exempt from these investigations. You want to play hardball, then hardball it is, and that means this needs to be, they got to investigate, period. And this sounds, look, let's read on because it gets crazy. This is where it gets crazier. Brand New Congress LLC does not appear to be registered as an LLC in any state, according to the complaint, but is a registered 527 tax-exempt organization. Fox News confirmed that Brand New Campaign LLC is a registered Delaware corporation, but Brand New Congress LLC is not. Now, this is interesting because Brand New Congress is what they claim was doing all these services. Psychic Chakrabarty has repeatedly mentioned this, and they often abbreviate to BNC, but there's a PAC, so it's really complicated. They have two PACs, two LLCs. What is going on? This is the swamp. This is what people say when they say there's a swamp. Ocasio-Cortez's office did not return a request for comment. In announcing the complaint, the NLPC pointed to a 2016 interview on MSNBC in which the 33-year-old Chakrabarty told anchor Rachel Maddow that he wanted to employ a single unified presidential-style campaign model to galvanize voters nationally to elect progressives to Congress, while helping candidates avoid the stress of fundraising and managing their own campaigns. Other legal experts also sounded the alarm on Monday, saying Chakrabarty's unusual arrangement raised serious, unanswered questions. Former FEC Associate General Counsel for Policy Adav Nodi, who currently directs the Campaign Legal Center, told Fox News that it was a total mystery to him why Chakrabarty had established an LLC seemingly to take money from the PAC rather than simply create a normal venture like a consulting business to provide services for candidates on the books. Certainly, it's not permissible to use an LLC or any other kind of intermediary to conceal the recipient or purpose of a PAC's spending, Nodi said. The law requires the PAC to report who it disperses money to. You can't try to evade that by routing it through an LLC or corporation or anyone else. Nodi added, what's so weird about the situation is that the PAC that dispersed so much of its money to one entity that was so clearly affiliated with the PAC, usually that's a sign that it's what's come to be known as a scam PAC. one that's operated for the financial benefit of its operators rather than one designed to engage in political activity. At the same time, Nodi said, Chakrabarti had provided long descriptions of why they structured it the way they did, which is not something a scam PAC would do because it only draws attention to the unusual setup. And Nodi cautioned that there is a tendency for some groups to try and gain attention by invoking Ocasio-Cortez. But on the other hand, Nodi added, Ocasio-Cortez's explanations don't make a lot of sense on their face. I read their explanation multiple times and I still don't understand. If you want to start a business to provide services to campaigns, many of those are organized as LLCs and you sell your services. Instead, Chakrabarti started a political action committee which has legal obligations to report all of his incoming and outgoing money and then used the PAC to disperse its funds to the LLC. So here's my understanding. Normally the LLC would be hired by Cortez or other companies. In this instance, it sounds like the money went to the Political Action Committee. The Political Action Committee then hired the LLC, and the LLC did whatever it wants, and no one knows exactly what it was doing or why it was doing it. Added former FEC Chairman Bradley A. Smith in an interview with the Washington Examiner. It's a really weird situation. I see almost no way that you can do that without it at least being a reporting violation, quite likely a violation of the contribution limits. You might say from a campaign finance angle that the LLC was essentially operating as an unregistered committee. Last week, Anderson also raised concerns over Ocasio-Cortez's decision to announce with much fanfare that she would offer a minimum salary of $52,000 to her staffers and a maximum salary of $80,000, far below the typical six-figure highs hit by chiefs of staff and other high-level congressional workers. And the reason for this, I made a video about it, is that SICAT would not have to report income legally because he's not making enough money. So my understanding is it's essentially plausible deniability. He can say, oh, well, there's a limit for fair reasons, so I can't report my income. So now you've got the swamp. You've got two PACs, you've got two LLCs, one LLC might not even be registered. Now you've got this dude who's not making enough money to even have to report where his income is coming from. This sounds to me like it's pretty crazy. And what's crazy about it is, well, look, is there going to be jail time for Cortez? I really doubt it. I think they're going to get a fine. I'm not going to insinuate, like, I know exactly what was going on. But there's a lot more to this story. This story is huge. So let's just hit up the last little bit here because we're going long. It was first reported late last month that the brand new Congress PAC paid Roberts during the early days of the Ocasio-Cortez campaign. According to FEC records, the PAC made two payments to Roberts, this is Cortez's boyfriend, one in August 2017 and one in September 2017, both for $3,000. The FEC complaint specifically cites the use of intermediaries to make payments, the vague and amorphous nature of the services Riley ostensibly provided, the relatively small amount of money raised by the campaign at the stage, and the romantic relationship between Ocasio-Cortez and Riley in asserting the transactions might violate campaign finance law. So what they're doing here is they're wrapping up on the other issue, that you've got all this money flowing, in one direction. This apparently brand new Congress PAC hired her boyfriend. SICAT Chakrabarti steps down. A week later, they cut a check to her boyfriend, to Cortez's boyfriend. Then about a month and a half, 2 months later, they cut another check. And then at some point shortly after that, he moves to New York to be with Cortez. So it is alleged that they funneled money to him so he could move in with Cortez in New York because he was in Arizona. This is crazy. I'll keep up on the story. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to leave it there because we're running long. But stick around. I got more videos coming up today. The next video will be at 1 p.m. on this channel. I will see you then.